What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my teeny tiny little automotive channel. Thank you guys for subscribing, the ones that do. All three of you, I really appreciate it. If you're new and you like the stuff I'm working on, please hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And it's free. I got my first check engine light on the Z06. The infamous P1416 code, 1416. Basically, all that code means is that little valve is just stuck. So hopefully by cleaning it and putting a little WD-40 in there, it will coat that little seal and keep it from sticking. And there's two of them on this car. There's one on the driver's side, and everybody on the forums and all these pages and stuff say the second one is on the passenger side, tucked behind the intake manifold. Well, that's partly true. It's definitely tucked behind the manifold, but it's not on the passenger side on my car. Maybe it's different on other cars. I'm not sure. This is my first go around with the Corvettes, but I'll show you where mine is. It's literally like on the driver's side behind the intake manifold. Maybe they're talking about like the mount for the hose or the tube or something, but I can see the check valve on this side. Here's the valve, right? This thing right here. That's the air valve, but that's the one on the driver's side. After reading a ton of stuff on the old interwebs, there are ways that you can actually remove the hoses and clean out these check valves. I'm going to try that first. I've already cleared the code on the car. I'm going to use my throttle body air intake cleaner because it's not as harsh as like just brake cleaner, and see if that works. That in combination with some air and some WD-40, some compressed air and WD-40. They say, a lot of guys have good results with that, and it works, and they never have an issue again. I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, for $8 for a can of cleaner in maybe, an hour or so of my time, I'll give it a shot. To replace these pieces, it's anywhere from like, I don't know, $30, $40 a piece. I've seen them all the way up to $100 a piece, which is just stupid. And there's actually a really good video on YouTube. A guy goes and orders this piece off of eBay, a used one, and then cuts that side, mounts this same exact one to that side, and then routes it all the way around the front and ties in to this one. So he doesn't have to, get back there and monkey with all this. It just kind of lives there, but at least if he ever has to change it again, it's, just on the other side there and it's accessible. So I thought that was kind of smart. I'm assuming he did that because he just maybe wasn't as mechanically inclined, or he didn't want to take the intake manifold off. I've seen a lot of posts where guys are like, just clean it out. The manifold's too hard to get to, blah, blah, blah. I don't personally think it's that tough to get to, or it would be that tough to take it off. It's probably 2, 4, 5, 10, 12 bolts, something like that, undo the throttle body, and the gaskets on the bottom of them are reusable anyway. I think they're actually O-rings. For a guy like me who likes to wrench on his stuff, that doesn't bother me. I'm going to try cleaning this stuff first and see if that works. And we're scheduled to go on a cruise, kind of a rally this coming weekend, so I'll know for sure if it worked or not. And if it didn't, I'll make another video and I will pull the intake manifold off and replace them. There are more than one ways of doing what I'm about to do in cleaning this. So there's no need to roast me in the comments. If you have a different way, cool. This is just one of the ways that I read about and decided to try. The driver's side check valve sits right here. Now, I took mine out because I'm kind of a curious kitten and I wanted to see what was inside of it. But this hose right here goes down and then comes up right there. And if you follow it along, it comes right over here and tees. Well, it doesn't tee, I'm sorry. It just connects right here next to the alternator. So you can disconnect this. There's no hose clamp or anything on it. And what they tell you to do in this particular article that I've read is basically clean it from here. You're going to spray all that stuff from here, then you're going to blast air, then you're going to do the WD-40, and it's going to go back. It's going to tee off and go to both of the check valves. Since I took mine apart, I wanted to see what was really inside. And it is just a little diaphragm. If you've ever taken apart a carburetor or something like that, that's literally all it is. It's a spring-loaded little diaphragm. And this is mounted facing the front of the engine. So it comes out of the cylinder head, comes in this way, goes through that little check valve and continues through the hose. So there's nothing to it. This one I actually cleaned up a little bit already. You can see all that nastiness that came out of it. That can't be good. So I'm going to put this one back on the car and just do the cleaning process like the article said. It's pretty simple. There's really no way to mess this up, so don't be afraid to get out there and do this to your car. You don't have to pull this off. I was just super curious what this thing looked like on the inside, and now I know. If you are going to remove yours, I just used a crescent wrench to hold this part, and it is a 7/8 that goes right there. So just hold that and then unscrew it. That's all there is to it. This hose just has this funky little plastic doodad, and all you have to do is lift up on this top part and then pull that middle part. It's got like these little teeth in it, you can see. Lift up on those and then they kind of slide back and this thing loosens up. And then once you put it back together, squeeze this and it will ride on those teeth and clamp in place. I started out doing it the way that they showed in the article by going from the hose near the alternator. What I decided to do was plug that off and then go from the hose that goes to the other check valve. It's actually a closer, more direct run to get to that back one. At least that's how I see it. So hopefully that is a little bit better. But here's what it looks like if you're going to try to do it. I pulled it off the check valve here and I've been going this way with it, and it just runs down and then back up and over. I was fairly satisfied with the way that I cleaned it, but again, curiosity got the best of me. I wanted to see if there was a way to get that thing off in the back, and if not, could I get a little bit closer? And I did. I just disconnected the hose that runs right here, this vacuum hose that runs to your brake booster. Disconnected that, set it out of the way, and I was able to get in and disconnect that portion right there, right before it hits the valve. This is really hard to stick a camera in there. Here is the valve, right here. And then you've got the short little hose that goes to here, and you have these really dumb plastic clips. Same clip that's right here. What I'm gonna do, I mean, I got it off, but I think I'm just gonna put a hose clamp on there when I go back to put this together, because that little plastic one, it's a pain in the ass. To spray stuff in that hose right there, I had to get a little creative, and I found this hose. You can see it goes down, it actually has a bend in it, and it's almost like it's made for this. I have no idea where that hose came from. It was literally in my bin of old hoses, but I got lucky. Here's one that I was gonna use, a little bit more flexible, that probably would have worked, but this one looks like it's gonna be the best. If you're gonna use a piece of hose like I did, the outside diameter appears to be, let's see, about 2, 3, 4, 5/8, roughly 5/8 in outer diameter, and it, like I said, it fits perfectly right in that other hose. Here's everything back together, and I did not use that black clip for 2 reasons. One, it was a pain in the butt to get off the first time, and 2, even when it was on there at its tightest little setting, it was still rotating on that hose, where this one right here will not move, and the one that's back there will not move either. So I didn't like having this one able to slide. That told me that it wasn't tight enough. So I used a hose clamp. Now, in doing so, you need to be very careful, because when you're tightening it down, you don't want it to break that hose or cut that hose in any way, slice it open. Also be sure that the head of your clamp is pushed back out of the way so that it doesn't let this, the hose for your brake booster, you know, it's gonna vibrate back here over time. You don't want it vibrating on the top of that and, you know, wearing through the hose. Now, I'm sure that would take forever and ever, but just push that thing down out of the way a little bit so it's not interfering. While I'm in here and I have these goofy plastic covers off, I'm going to go ahead and vacuum up all the debris, leaves, just junk that's in there and see if I can clean up this engine, the top of it there, just a little bit more. It drives me nuts. And I think I'm going to leave those little plastic things off. It just, I hate opening hoods of cars and all you see is plastic. Well, there's the final product. I cleaned it. I mean, it's not spotless by any means, and I'm sure a real Corvette owner would come and pick this engine bay apart, but I don't care. My car, I'm gonna drive it this weekend and we'll see how she does. I've got a 50-50 shot that what I did just worked, and if it didn't, then I'll have a reason to make another video where I actually pull the intake manifold off and replace that part. So stay tuned and see what happens. Thanks so much for watching. Stay hungry, stay foolish.